Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer and we are continuing on with the Santa's laundry garland. I'm going to start with the socks and I already cut it out, so I'm just going to fold this paper so I can work with it better. Okay. So here is a picture of what the sock looks like, and it shows you the embroidery that you need. So we're going to start with the top, with the dark blue, and it's a straight stitch. And there's 3 strands. So I'm going to grab 3. I'm going to knot one end and leave the other end loose. I get that question a lot, of how to handle an odd number of thread. And it's pretty basic, so I'm just deciding. I think I'm going to start on the bottom. That way the knot is not towards the edge, if that makes sense. And then I don't go all the way to the top. If you've done any of these kits, or even if you've never done any of these kits, if you get too close to the edge, it will fray. So I like to leave just a little bit of room on the top if I have to get close to the edge. And it honestly depends on how thick the felt is, because sometimes if the felt is too thin, then you really have to be careful, because each color felt has its own certain thickness, I've noticed. This blue felt is a little bit on the thin side, so I'm able to get away with getting close to the edge and to not have it fray so much. But if you're having trouble, try to angle your needle down when you're going towards the edge. That way it's not completely straight. It has a little bit more grip. And make sure that you're not pulling too tight, because if you do, it will create a hole. So everybody does it a little different. I'm just showing you how I do it. Okay, simple enough. And this is what the back looks like. And I'm just going to quickly double knot this and move on to the next stitch color. I'm trying to be careful here, because if I stretch it too much, it may create warping, which I don't want. So I'm really careful here. Okay, and I'm going to cut this. I'm not going to bother hiding it because it's really thin. The felt's already thin enough. It won't hide very easily. Okay. So now we're going to work with the yellow, and it's a back stitch. And there's a couple of ways you can do the back stitch. I'm just going to show you one way I do it. This is kind of like a quick way of doing it. You really have to make sure that you're confident in your spacing. When I first did it this way, my spacing was kind of all over the place. So I try really hard to make my spacing as even as possible. If you want to learn how to do the back stitch in different ways, I do have a separate video. I will link it up in the cards below. Check that out. It's very helpful. I just find this way is just so much faster. But it takes practice. And even though I've done this for a long time, there's sometimes I'm just like, my spacing's a little wonky. Let me do that again. So I'll literally take out a stitch if I have to. It really does depend too on the kit. This particular kit is going to a family member, so I can be a little more lenient with my stitches. If this was a kit that I was making for an order, I would definitely take out the stitch and redo it. Okay. Again, I'm going just enough towards the edge to where it doesn't fray. So there we go. We're going to do the rest of the lines. Okay, so I'm going to go do that off camera. And I'll be back. Okay, so now that we're done with the yellow, we're going to move on to the red. And the red is kind of like a straight stitch. They're like little mini straight stitches. And I'm starting towards the inner, like towards the, not towards the edge, but kind of in, to give me some space for that knot, because it's really hard to keep the knot steady on this thin of felt. So okay, so I'm gonna try and stick to the same pattern. So I'm going up, so down, starting on the left and going up, and then coming down to the right and going up. And I'm going to keep doing this pattern over and over. You could do it any way you want. I just figured this was the best, quickest way. I try and think of all the quickest ways I can get a stitch done. And that way they look like little X's, kind of like an actual sock with little X's on it. And we're going to do this with all the X's. And there are 2 socks. I just want to point that out. There are 2 socks that we have to do. So I'm just going to show you the first sock, and then you can always rewatch it to do the second sock. Or what you could do is you can do both socks at the same time, pause it, and then redo it. You know, each step on each individual sock, however you want to approach it. So yeah. If you like these tutorials, please give me a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you like what I produce and what I put out, and you want to see more. If you like all things embroidery and vlogs and crafty things, hit that subscribe button, because that's what I do. And I post every week. Oh, look at that. It's such a beautiful knot. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I love it when that happens, don't you? Right in the middle of my stitch. Okay, so perfect example of totally like not paying attention because my brain is in la la land. That's what happens when I stitch. My brain just kind of goes into like a trance, and it's very, you know, until I hit a knot like this. And I may just redo it. Honestly, it might just be easier. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna I'm gonna redo it off camera. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna go fix this. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I fixed it, as you can see. Oh, I just love it when that happens. Knots. Anyway, okay, so I grabbed the heel and the toe, and that's gonna be white felt, and they're gonna have these cute little sequins and beads on them. So I'm just gonna show you how to do that. And beading and sequining is rather easy and simple as once you get the hang of it. So I want you to notice that I am adding beads and sequins on pieces that I haven't cut out yet. Hey, you can do that. I find it convenient with small pieces like this. That way I know what goes where, and I can just get it done in one sitting instead of just cutting it out first and then putting beads. The reason why I do it with small pieces is sometimes they're a little harder to like keep in your fingers, you know, like my hands are a little bit bigger, so I find it easier to grip on pieces that are smaller when they're not cut out yet. So that's why they're not cut out. That way, you know, when I'm done, I know what is what, and then I can cut them out and put them on. Luckily, I'm putting these on right now. I wouldn't advise cutting out pieces that you're not going to be working on, because that's never smart. You risk losing them. So, all right, so I'm just going to finish putting these beads and sequins on. Okay. They kind of look like little footballs. Right? Am I right? If you guys have done this kit before, leave a comment below. Tell me how you like it so far. So far, I'm liking it. I am trying to figure out how I'm going to do the clips, because the kit shows little clips that hold up the laundry. So I'm very curious on how those are put together. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to finish this off camera and then we're going to attach them. I just grabbed a couple pins and placed them where I wanted them. And I'm using one strand of white, and we are doing the applique stitch on these small pieces. If you have a hard time, like vision, if you're having a hard time with seeing these little elements, I would avoid doing kits like these that have really small details, unless you have a magnifying glass with a light on it. That would be perfect then. I've actually seen people do that, so maybe someday when I'm a little bit older and my eyesight gets worse, which, you know, it's inevitable, I'll upgrade to a table with a magnifying glass and a good light source. Because some of these elements are really small. I've even worked on stockings that had really tiny elements to them. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, I wear glasses and yet I'm still having a hard time. But, okay. So, this is the first sock. And there is one other one that we have to do. So, feel free to go back and rewatch it so you know how to do it. And put those together. And then once you have that second sock face done, then we can put them together. So I do the second sock off of camera just to save time because it does take a while. So I will show you that. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got a box. I got a box in the mail. I'm like, hey, what's this? And I open it and it's from Plaid. They sent me a box and I opened it and there were some cute things in there. And about, I don't know, a couple months ago, I had them reach out. They reached out to me and asked me to be part of their ambassador program. So I'm an ambassador for them. And they're like, oh yeah, it's going to take a while to get a box. So I finally got it. I think it was like 2 months later. So that's exciting. I'm hoping to share more kits with you. All right, so here is the other sock and the backing. The backing is fairly simple, as you can see. And that's my neighbor. Oh my goodness. I'm filming and my neighbor is upstairs playing music. Great. Nice background music. At least it's not like crazy music. It's good, right? Okay, so I'm going to use blue to applique the front and the back together. And I'm debating whether or not I'm going to switch to white or not. I could get away with doing blue all the way around. But I'm still thinking about it, so we'll decide. We'll decide as we go along. Okay. Sorry, my daughter was trying to get my attention. Oh, the wonders of motherhood and trying to work at the same time. Anybody else can relate? Seriously, like every 5 minutes, mommy, 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 mommy. No alone time. That's one reason why I do a lot of my embroidery at night, because they're sleeping. And it gives me a few hours to just break out the embroidery and go to town. I can get some done during the day, but it's definitely harder because my attention is, you know, here and there and everywhere. So it's really hard to like get into my vibe of embroidery when they are awake and they need my attention. Okay, so I think I'm going to switch colors. Yep, I'm going to switch colors. I think it'd be more sock-like if I did that. So when you're switching colors, make sure that you're only sewing the top and bottom and not the blue. Does that make sense? So when you're putting the sock heels together, you're only sewing the white and not the blue. Okay, so this is what I mean. So I'm just gonna grab the white felt and then I'm gonna hide the knot inside the blue felt because we're not gonna see it. We're gonna be stuffing it later. I'm just grabbing the white felt. That way it looks like there's no blue in between. So I figure if I do it like this, it would look more sock-like versus if I just did the blue all the way around and hid it, like it would be a little, you'd see the blue. So I was like, nah, I want to hide the blue so it looks like it's one complete sock. And I think it turned out pretty nice. Oh, I'm so excited. I also got in the mail. So not only did I get a mail box, I got mail from Plaid, but I also got something for myself and I'm super excited. It's a wall hanging and it just came out this year. It's brand new and I'm so excited. I'm not quite sure when I will actually break it out and make it for you guys because I will definitely do a tutorial on it. But fairly soon because I have a few more, I have at least a few more stockings that I need to get done for family members. So my brand new kit, I'm just gonna have to stare at it for a while until I can make it. So, okay. Once I'm done with this, then I will finish the second one. So basically I'm going to go back and forth, blue, white, and then I'm going to leave that open. Okay, so here are the completed socks. How cute are these? Oh my goodness. Super cute. And we're going to be stuffing these later. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of my viewers, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.